Why willpower doesn't work? Most people know what they need to do, but are not able to do it. So if it's not working, it is not that you don't know what to do. It is that willpower doesn't work as one of the main drivers to get things done. And let me explain that to you. Welcome back. Hi, everyone. Here, Tommy Walker, the Mind Engineer, sharing insight and tools to help you understand how the mind works and how to start being able to make changes inside out. Willpower normally is one of the things that we hear a lot of people talking about how to be able to get things done. I've heard, Simon Sinek, I think it is, that he talks about when you have a big why, you're going to be able to do stuff. I've heard so many people talking about different ways to get things done, but unfortunately, they're not talking about the true, real issue here, and it has to do with your unresolved issues. So, what does that mean? In our past, when we were growing up from 0 to 7 years old, we went through different circumstances that created pain. Maybe you were rejected, you were judged, you were laughed at, you were criticized. And when you felt those emotions, for you, it was very painful and you didn't know how to deal with that. And on top of that, what happens is that the mind starts telling itself stories about those events. So if my dad wasn't very loving for me, I'm going to start telling myself that there's something wrong with me. If he rejects me, I'm going to tell myself that I'm not good enough. And along our life, we have created many limiting, negative, and false beliefs that I tend to call partial truths around different things. I work with people that have partial truths around money. I have people that I work with that have partial truths around relationships, around communications, around success, around failure. We have many partial truths that are holding us back. Those would be limiting, negative, and false beliefs. So, when we want to do something and we're not able to do it, we cannot just override that with willpower because willpower, unfortunately, is not going to work. Why doesn't it work? Because you have the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. The conscious mind would be a little ant saying, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go do this tomorrow. I'm going to start going to the gym tomorrow. I'm going to start taking care of this. I'm going to start taking care of myself. I'm going to set boundaries. But then the subconscious mind, that is kind of the elephant, is going to run the show because 5% to 10% is the conscious mind, and the subconscious mind is between 90 to 95%, guys. 90 to 95% of the show is run by the subconscious mind. So I don't care how many times you're going to tell yourself that you're going to do this or you're going to stop doing that, but it's not going to work. Why? Because you're doing it at a conscious level. And some people say, oh, but Tommy, if you repeat that 20 times 30 every day for a long time, eventually you might be able to. Maybe, eventually, maybe. But again, you're talking about a very small percentage of people out there. If you want to give it a try and then get frustrated, if you are one of those big numbers out there, because the highest percentage of people out there are not able to do things through willpower. So you can try it. Don't get me wrong. I'm pretty sure that you have already tried it. How many times you have told yourself, oh, tomorrow I'm going to start my diet. Tomorrow I'm going to start taking care of myself. Tomorrow I'm going to start doing this. Tomorrow I'm going to stop doing this. How many times have you tried telling yourself that you are going to start doing something or you're going to stop doing something? Putting in the chat if that has happened to you in the past, that you have tried telling yourself to do something or telling yourself to stop doing something. And I know the answer for most people is that they have not been able to get over that using willpower. Because again, willpower is 5 or 10% running the show. So we need to start accessing the subconscious mind to understand the software, the programs that are running in the background that are holding you back. because you might be self-sabotaging, you might be procrastinating, you might be falling into perfectionism, you might be falling into any type of behavior. And guys, all of them, yes, I'm going to repeat it again, all of them have a valid reason to be there, and most of them, 99.999% of them, are there to protect you. Self-sabotage, procrastination, overthinking, analysis paralysis, not being able to organize yourself, saying that you don't have time, you name it, whatever behavior you're having is a protective mechanism. It is not the problem. I said that last talk, and every talk that I give, I keep saying the same things because people keep trying to change things consciously. And that is not the way to go. We need to start understanding subconsciously what is going on in our mind. As Carl Jung said many, 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 many years ago, a very well-known psychologist worldwide, if we don't make conscious what is in the subconscious, what is in the subconscious is going to run our life, and we're going to call it destiny. We can change our current circumstances and we can change our future, but first we need to heal our past. Because what the mind is doing is reliving past memories and protecting me from feeling the same way in the near future. So imagine when I was a kid, each time I opened my mouth, maybe people laughed at me, maybe people made fun of me. So I have learned to shut up, not to say anything. So nowadays I'm in a meeting, I want to talk to my boss, I want to ask for a raise, and I find myself not being able to speak up or getting really anxiety when I need to speak up. And I work with a lot of people that have those issues, and a lot of professionals have told them that they're going to have to learn how to live with them. They're going to learn how to they're going to need to learn how to cope with them. And I'm going to tell you that is the biggest lie I have ever heard. You don't need to learn how to cope with it from the rest of your life or learn how to live with it, because that is not something you were born with. Have you ever seen a baby hiding when they puked, when they shed their diapers, when they were removing their clothes? Have you seen kids in 1-year-old, 2-year-old, 3-year-olds hiding, not wanting to be seen? Normally, that is not what we see. The other day, I was talking to a woman, and she was telling me, I'm looking at this 3-year-old, and this 3-year-old, her version, right, was quiet and was not saying anything. She wanted to share something, but she was imagining this scenario, and it was, oh, my little girl is just, quiet, not saying anything. And I told her, is that normal? Have you been around kids? A 3-year-old? 2 3-year-olds cannot stop talking. Many times you got to ask them to stop a little bit, to stay quiet, to listen to somebody else or whatever, right? Because they don't stop talking. So something happened in the middle that created this new behavior, this new persona. So if we keep believing that that's who we're going to be for the rest of our life, yeah, you can do that if you want. But what I'm trying to share with you guys here, how to become free from your past, but it needs to be healed. It needs to be understood. For the mind, it cannot distinguish between past, present, and future. There's no past, present, and future. Everything, instead of seeing like that linear, how the mind see it, for the mind, everything is happening in the same time. So if I was laughed at when I was a little kid, if somebody in the room might put a face, might say something, I might get triggered as I felt when I was a little kid because I haven't dealt with it yet. So as we work on dealing on those things, we are able to not need the willpower that we're trying to use from conscious mind and be able to start doing more things from the subconscious mind. When you are able to identify the old programs, rewrite them, reprogram them, that's when you're able to start making changes. So I hope this is making sense. I hope you stop trying to do things by pushing yourself, by using willpower. Because although some people out there say it works, right? Unfortunately, for most people, it is not working. Because if it was a willpower problem, most people wouldn't be struggling the way they are. It has to do with their unresolved issues, hurting parts of them from the past, the inner child that is running the show in the background, trying to protect itself from feeling those negative emotions again, ever again. So many times people don't expose themselves. People don't take risks. People don't speak up. People don't set boundaries. Why? Because they have unresolved issues and there's a little kid running the show in the background. When you're able to start identifying how the mind works, identifying your inner child, loving and accepting, and this I want to say it again, guys, I'm going to keep repeating it because I keep seeing people out there in social media sharing about how to talk to your inner child. And most of them, although it sounds very loving, it is heartbreaking. Why? Because suddenly, out of the blue, they start talking to their inner child saying, hey, I love you. I care for you. I'm here for you. I'm going to be there for you from now on. I'm going to support you, love you, accept you, validate you, blah, blah. And they say all these positive things. But you know what? That is, again, fake positivity. Because if you were mean to me for many years and out of the blue, you show up and tell me, oh, Tommy, I'm going to take care of you from now on. I'm going to be the best for you. I'm going to, listen to you. I'm going to validate you. I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to blah, blah, whatever. I'm going to be very doubtful of what I'm going to not trust you. Why? In a way, you have been that aggressor to your inner child. You have been the enemy for your inner child for many years. So you cannot just show up as the savior, as a good guy now, and expect that inner child to just open up and receive you. We got to be very careful the language we use with our inner child, because we got to create a language that starts building trust. And me telling you that everything is going to be fine, that is not building trust. That I'm there for you, that is not building trust. Why? Because in the past, I haven't been there for you. In the past, negative things happened and you were not there for me. So that little kid is not going to trust you just because you're saying nice things to him or to her. We need to learn the right language to communicate with your inner child, to get it to open up, to reveal how you're treating him or her, for you to have the opportunity to say that you're sorry, that you didn't realize how you were treating him or her, and that you're now learning how to treat him or her in a different way. But there's a certain process that I work with people through to help them open the mind, to identify what's going on, and then bring the right language to start the healing process. If you want to know more, write the word free and we'll share a free training with more insight and tools to help you understand how the mind works and how to start being able to connect deeper with yourself and start healing so that the mind doesn't use the past to predict potential futures and try to protect you from those potential futures. Because that's what's happening. Most people that tell me, oh, Tommy, I'm so tired. Tommy, I cannot stop thinking. Tommy, I cannot, sleep at night. Most of the times it's because the mind is using the past, running past experiences to predict potential threats in the future and create alternative plans to try to avoid those futures. The problem is that it is devastating to be running that 24/7. It destroys us. That's why people cannot sleep. That's why people are so stressed out with anxiety, with lots of different problems that they're struggling with because their mind doesn't stop. So we need to start be able to love and accept the parts of me that are trying to protect me. Those are inner childs that are trying to protect me, and invite them through language, through different ways to see that what they're trying to do is not working. Also, in the meantime, we also need to start healing the past so that the mind cannot use the past to predict potential futures, because the mind is running the past as if it were happening now. So what you can do is jump onto a time machine, land on those moments in the past and heal them, help that little kid process them correctly and be able to let go finally the past by healing, not by telling yourself that you got to let go. Each time you say, I need to let go, I need to forgive, I need to whatever, that is control, that is ego. And we need to learn how to stop using ego to try to heal, because ego doesn't heal, ego tries to control. So when you're listening to your language, be aware, is this control or is this spirit? Is this higher self? Is this my true self? Whatever name you want to put it, doesn't matter. Or is this ego? That's how we start identifying what's really going on. And that's what I do in my sessions when I'm working with people one-on-one. I'm listening to their language and separating between, is this spirit or true self, or is this ego? The other day I was working with a guy, and it was amazing because the guy suddenly said, oh, you know what, Tommy, I need to go on LinkedIn, but I hate LinkedIn. Okay, why do you hate LinkedIn? Oh, because it's, horseshit. Okay, for me so far, it made no sense that, LinkedIn is horseshit. So I kept on going. Why do you think it's horseshit? Oh, because you know why? When my wife was in another job, they would make her post stuff every day on LinkedIn. So when he said that, for me, it was like, what you're saying doesn't make any sense. I didn't tell him that, guys. Don't get me wrong. I kept asking questions. But so far, there was no compelling argument to say LinkedIn was bullshit. Seriously, we kept on going deeper and listened to this. He eventually realized, he said it, that he was trying to avoid going on LinkedIn because he didn't feel that he was in a position, in a status that others would see him as successful. As he didn't feel successful enough, he didn't feel ready to go out there on LinkedIn. But his mind was trying not to face that and was saying, oh, LinkedIn is bullshit. LinkedIn is horseshit. It doesn't work. People are just showcasing their life. Whatever the mind is trying to say, it is actually painting a picture for you so that you don't go into the pain. 90% of what you tell, what you think, what you tell me, 90% of the things that people tell me in the sessions that they feel is a problem is just a cover-up of something much deeper. Oh, my wife is a problem. My kids are the problem. My boss is my problem. The government is my problem. The economy is my problem. I don't know, whatever is my problem. Anything that is external, that is what the mind is using as cover up, not to allow you to see the deeper problem. Because deep down, this guy didn't feel good enough. Deep down, this guy didn't feel good enough. And the mind doesn't want to accept that because it feels that it's going to accept a truth that I'm not good enough. So whenever he felt uncomfortable, he tried to create a compelling argument, a story that sounded valid not to go on LinkedIn. Oh, LinkedIn is bullshit. LinkedIn doesn't work. And this is what most entrepreneurs do when they're starting the entrepreneur journey, to convince themselves to stop doing what they're doing. Whatever that is, posting videos, getting people to know them, offering sale, like offering their products or services. Their mind starts like, oh, you know what? The market is saturated. The market, blah, blah, blah. The problem is the Trump is, I don't know, it's Russia, it's Iran, it's China. The problem is always on the outside. So you know what? I shouldn't continue with this because blah, 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 whatever. No, the deeper reason is I don't want to fail. So again, I'm not saying this is exactly for everyone, but just to give you an example is I'm so scared of failing. I don't want to face it. So I'm going to blame it on something else externally. So I don't need to see what's going on within me. What would happen if I fail? What if this doesn't work? What if I don't make any sales? What if I don't make it through the month? And that's what's happening through most people's head. And they're not even aware of it. So what I do is I have studied language for many years and emotions and many other things. So I listen to what people are saying and I help them interpret what their mind is really trying to say. Because most people are not truly saying what is bothering them. They're just saying surface level problems because the mind is protecting them from going to find what's deeper. And this guy was amazing the other day because he's very open to work, don't get me wrong. But as he was saying these things, I started asking questions and his argument fell apart. His argument fell apart. LinkedIn is BS. No, he realized that his mind was trying to blame it on LinkedIn, but actually he was so scared of getting out there. So guys, again, thank you very much. If you got up to here, I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know in the comments. I would love to hear your feedback about this, if it makes sense, if you have tried willpower and it hasn't worked for you. And if you're watching live, hashtag live. If you're watching replay, after replay. And follow, subscribe to the channel if you want to learn more about how the mind works and how to start making changes. I've been studying the mind now for 17 years. I have over 7,000 hours of coaching one-on-one people from 44 countries. It doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter, the education, the country you come from, your family. The mind works in very specific ways, and I help people understand and tangle what's in their mind to be able to reveal what are the limiting negative false beliefs, the partial truths they have created, and how to start reprogramming them. I have free stuff, as I'm doing over here on my channel. I have my book, I have courses, and I even offer people to work with me one-on-one to help them go through this. So I hope it makes sense. If you want to know more, just write down here free training, or if you want to talk, just send me a comment and I'll get back to you and we can talk more. Thank you very much. I hope you have and enjoy the rest of